Nigerians living and working in the United Arab Emirates can now have a breather as the UAE ambassador to Nigeria clarifies on the issuance of ban of work permits for Nigerians living and working in that country. More details to come shortly. And the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, has been applauded for her robust engagement with Nigerians in the diaspora. You want to know who made that commendation? Well, you just have to stay tuned. And a cultural fusion between Nigeria and the United States of America is underway. Welcome to your favorite program, The Diaspora, and I am your host, Koinsola Adetumbi. Please stay tuned. Speculations on the ban on the issuance of work permits for Nigerians living and working in the United Arab Emirates were rife, giving a lot of concerns. But the visit of the Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, to the UAE ambassador to Nigeria was a big relief.
There are many good Nigerians in UAE that are now being affected by the bad behavior of some. So this not being able to get the work is actually affecting some of them. I mean, we have professionals, doctors, teachers that are not affected at all because, they're really up there. But there are some that work legally with some small firms. Now their work permit is not being issued and they didn't do anything wrong, except that the bad ones are now affecting the good. So we just thought, we have a whole lot of, every day that's what I get, a whole lot of, not even complaints, appeal that when will this be over? Because if you had a job good, legally, but if your work permit is not renewed, then you have to leave the job. Then where do you go to? And the firms still want to. So we just thought we should take it up with you and find out the actual situation and see whether, whatever can be done. We can't dictate to you. And then what is happening again is that Nigerians in the UAE are now mobilizing, drawing out the bad ones. They've been having conferences, they've been coming together to say, listen, you cannot spoil our name. UAE has been very good to us, you cannot spoil our name. And that's what we've been telling them. So they're doing that now, they're having conferences, talking to one another, and they are saying that if we see a bad Nigerian, we will be the ones to expose you. So we just felt we should ask you exactly what is the situation and what do we tell them?
There has been no official restriction on Nigerians. From what I believe as an official position from the UAE, UAE is a very welcoming country. We have no discrimination against any nationality. Everyone is welcome to come and to work, to contribute, to transfer their business to the UAE, work with the UAE, either trade and investment, and go for tourism. We have a lot of Nigerians who we are proud that we have a huge number of Nigerian nationals who go there for tourism, for medical tourism, for employment, for studying and education. And some of the elite professionals in Nigeria are also involved in good positions in the UAE, in the medical, engineering, university professors, and we truly appreciate that. And we will continue to always find a solution to any consular issues. I conveyed this message to Ambassador Bolaji, the consular director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the permanent secretary in the Foreign Affairs. We have no at all that it's not a generalized thing as it is depicted in the social media.
That is good news, because what we hear is, you deliberately stopped issuers of work permits to Nigerians, and we're glad to hear that. We communicate that message to our brothers and sisters, and also tell Nigerians in the UAE that when they see anybody behaving badly, they are the ones that should stop it and warn their colleagues, and so that the bad may not affect the good. So it's very reassuring news, Your Excellency, and we look forward to continue strengthening relations between.
We are more than happy.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for the clarification. We hope the bond between the two countries be strengthened. Now, the Tanzanian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ambassador Benson Alfred Bana, has commended Nigeria's frontline strides in her engagement with her diaspora for nation building. He stated this when he visited the Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, in Abuja. Please watch.
The relationship between Nigeria. This relation existed since 1972. We cannot dent it. We had common positions with Nigeria in the African liberation struggles, liquidation of apartheid in South Africa. We have never differed in any way with our colleagues in Nigeria. We have never differed on matters of interest. The Nigerian foreign policy interests are very well, they resemble very much the Tanzanian foreign policy agenda. Indeed, be it at the United Nations, be it at the African Union, and within our bilateral ties. So anything that would dent a relationship is not permissible. And I think you went the extra mile of trying to rework the Joint Permanent Commission that will address these substantive issues. You ask even investors, key investors in Tanzania from Nigeria, namely Honorable Alhaji Dangote, Sahara Group, UBA Bank, GTB Bank, nobody would argue that we have faced the difficult in investing in Tanzania Commission in Dar es Salaam.
Thank you very much for that. Tanzania is a beautiful country, and we thank you for visiting us. And we also thank you for your kind words. And really, we'll be glad to share with you what we've been able to do with our diaspora. But I think the first gratitude is to the President himself, President Muhammadu Buhari, who we describe as the #1 diaspora champion. Everywhere the President travels to, he meets Nigerians abroad. So that was the first thing we did, so that they know that the President will be meeting with them. They will exchange ideas, share, ideas, and have a conversation. So that is one of the very first things I know that we can share with you. Meeting with your diaspora at the highest level has given our diaspora a sense of belonging and a sense of being part of, even being at home. And then we thank the Parliament, of course, for passing the Diaspora Commission bill into law. So now we now have a Diaspora Commission Act, which led to setting up the commission, of which I became the pioneer chairman of the commission. So number two is that I think you also should have an agency that should be able to strictly deal with your diaspora. I think that helps a lot. And you see, it's not about the number, it's about what they're able to do. So what we tell our diaspora is, it doesn't matter where you are, it's about what you can do and what you are doing with your country. And Your Excellency, I'm glad you also noticed that we have bad stories about Nigerians abroad, and you know that. But we have too many good stories. So we said to ourselves that nobody will tell our stories but ourselves. And by telling their stories, letting the whole world know, Nigeria has just done this, Nigeria has just done that, inspires every one of us. So that even when you hear the bad story of somebody did a drug, it's not of any significance. One person does something bad, I'll give you 10,000 doing great things. So we celebrate our diaspora, and that is celebrating ourselves. And then we keep saying that, as we say, Dr. Bass, it's now about it's not about brain drain, but brain circulation and brain exchange. So we try to get our diaspora to be part of what is going on at home. But the most significant thing we're able to do, we're about 2 years old, is to have this diaspora policy. And we're going to give you a copy. So we have a diaspora policy that actually is very holistic and deals with every issue that has to do with the diaspora. We worked on it with the IOM, funded by the EU. So we're glad that we have a diaspora policy in place. We have a diaspora investment summit where we get the diaspora to see where they can invest in. We have a National Diaspora Day. July 25 is our National Diaspora Day. It's been on for about 15 years, but when a commission came on board, we made it bigger and better.
Now let's take a glimpse at the just concluded rich cultural endowment of Edo State, a carnival in Italy.
Nigerian's ambassador to Italy, Mfawa Abam, has pledged to push for the establishment of a Nigerian cultural and information house in Italy to further promote the country's rich culture. Abam made this known during the 2021 Edo Carnival organized by the Edo United Union in Rome, Italy, with the theme Promoting Culture, Tradition, Social Integration and Cultural Diplomacy. Abam urged Nigerians in Italy and in other countries to remain united, law-abiding in their host countries. He commended the Italian government for its hospitality and providing favorable living conditions for Nigerians.
The embassy will not relent in its effort to collaborate with any cultural group in promoting our rich culture, and in particular to our Italian friends. It is my intention, therefore, to open discussions with our Ministry of Culture and Information and relevant Italian authorities to work out the possibility of having a Nigerian cultural and information here in Italy during my tour of duty. This, I believe, will afford our children born here to learn about our culture. In addition, such center will also assist Italian students interested in African culture to have a practical appreciation of our culture.
Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, is in good stead for a 2-year cultural fusion event series transcending cultural arts and politics. The NIDCOM boss stated this when a delegation from Delaware University, led by Professor James Anderson, Director Orchestra Activities, visited her office in Abuja.
Our visit here to Africa on this trip to Nigeria, where we are actively seeking additional cultural activities that can be part of this year-long cultural fusion, 2-year-long cultural fusion event. And from that, we have a new staged production, a musical that will be composed by Wale Alade with a text and libretto by Wale Shoyenka. And that would be something in collaboration, a partnership with the University of Ife and the University of Delaware. So we would come to Ife and perform, they would come to the University of Delaware and perform this joint collaboration. The first thing that led me to this idea of cultural fusion, because previous concert tours that I've done have been structured differently. This one, really what kicked it off was an initial exploration of the project in South Africa, which would have been more traditional with the Western Classical Orchestra and Western Classical Style Orchestra from South Africa we paired. That didn't quite take off as fast as I had wanted, and that's when I met Wale Delagunja at a conference sponsored by Senator Chris Coons called Opportunity Africa, and is co-sponsored by the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition. And at that conference, I spoke with Wale and I told him about this idea. I have an ambition to take an orchestra to all 7 continents. I don't know how we're going to do Antarctica, that's the hard one. But Wale said, instead of South Africa, why not Nigeria? And at that moment, that was back in 2016, I said, well, I don't know that much about Nigeria. I know it's the most populous country in Africa. I know it's the largest economy, but culturally, I didn't know anything. And I've learned in my career that I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of not knowing, because it becomes a journey of discovery. And as I started to learn about the Nigerian culture, the first major artist that came to my attention was Fela Kuti. And Fela represents what is the core now of this project, this idea of fusion. He took jazz and paired it with highlight, apala, juju, reggae, rock and roll. All these different elements came in and fused together to form Afrobeat. And Afrobeat now is a distinct, recognizable genre. It is not a conglomerate of other things. It is its own thing. And so I started imagining, well, what would be the outcome if we took this Western classical music tradition and paired it with Afrobeat? And then cultural fusion was born.
You're welcome to the Nigerian Diaspora Commission office. And we're particularly excited about the cultural fusion that you're trying to organize. I think this will be a monumental program that will actually be a great fusion between Nigeria and America. And I'm glad we realized that Nigeria is blessed with rich culture, which we don't even appreciate enough. So I'm hoping that what you're trying to do, this cultural fusion, will actually be a strong bridge between both countries, and I believe that even America will be better off for it.
Absolutely.
I like the fact that you're talking about students, the younger generation, and I think a lot can happen. We're proud of our Nigerians in the diaspora, we're proud of our Nigerians in America, and what we're saying that you're developing American economy, you need to do something back home. So, Wale, thank you for bringing this to Nigeria and getting them out. Like I said, this is a cultural fusion that I'm sure will lead to a business and economic fusion between Nigeria and the United States. So we're excited about this. I will do everything to join you to make it very, very successful.
Lincoln have a place in the state of Delaware. Yes. Yes. So Lincoln is leading us in the state of Delaware. Yeah, the governor, the lieutenant governor, all the legislators, they are looking for more of Lincoln. And so I say that to say that, please, whenever we call her, we would love to see her more, because there's so much to do. There's so much opportunities, so much business opportunity that we already, put in place when she came, and people are working on our behalf as we speak. So I use this opportunity to say thank you. I'm going to use this opportunity also to say, the visa, we had a big problem with visa. It was Lincoln through our chairman leadership that just, that helped us to get him visa on arrival. So we want to say thank you very much.
Ha! Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
Remember, if you must travel, travel legitimately. The Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Jabiri Erewa, has commended the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, for coming up with the Citizens Summit to promote national integration, peace, and security. She urged NIPR to use the proposed Peace Summit to focus on diaspora components, particularly the second and third generation diaspora, for nation building. Enjoy the interaction.
The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations worried at the trend and realizing that at the core of the problem of the country is probably the breakdown of communication among the component parts of the country. Decided that we needed to put a stop. We needed to come up with a process that will actually change the narrative. We have a lot to be grateful to God for in this country, but we have a lot more to do to ensure that it goes beyond gratitude to God. That we do the needful to ensure that this country goes to where it belongs. The general consensus is that we have no business being where we are today, ordinarily. We ought to be up there competing with the best, but we are not. So the Institute, as an auditor of relationship, as a mender, minder, and builder of relationship, felt that we need to service relationship in Nigeria. And the way to do it is actually for Nigerians to begin to re-engage themselves in a conversation that would restore hope and confidence of all of us confidence in one another. That's why we came up with the idea of convening a summit, a citizen summit on national integration, peace, and security that will enable Nigerians come together. The truth of the matter is we are all guilty one way or the other of not engaging effectively with ourselves. And we believe that if we engage with one another, a lot of the problems that we seem to be having are problems that communication can solve. And once we are able to get it right, even the sky cannot be the limit for us. We believe that it is not something that the Institute alone can do. It requires the buy-in of all Nigerians of goodwill, all Nigerians of conscience, all Nigerians who believe that this country is not where it is supposed to be, all Nigerians who believe that, yes, Nigeria can get to where it is supposed to be.
There's so much we have as Nigerians. We're so blessed. So as we have this conversation, let's hope that all of us collectively will appreciate that blessing. We will build our country ourselves. We will fix this country ourselves. A lot of us have so much passion and know that if we get it right in the next 10 years, honestly speaking, nobody can rival Nigeria. You may not see it, but I believe we're making gradual progress. By 2021, when we have elections, ensure that, the votes count. And there's nothing wrong with any one of you being part of the leadership, being part of governance, ensuring that you can take a decision in being a leader or who leads you. So I hope the conversation will be broad enough and will be deep. I will actually go beyond just having a conversation. Look, we all know what the problem is. And we all know that we can solve the problem. And we should all have the few people who don't want things to work to ensure that whatever you do does not work. So we really do appreciate this conversation that you're going to have end of the year. You said that you can count on our support too, in every sense of the word, not financial. But we support you in every sense of the word. And it will be glad to have the diaspora aspect of the conversation as the 7th region. We can easily arrange that with you. We do our quarterly diaspora lecture series, so we'll be glad to have one with the NIPR in partnership to have this conversation with Nigerians.
A great initiative there. Now over to our diasporan of the moment.
Our diaspora of the moment is Hetty Ofugara Oraka Onojeje. Hetty Ofugara is a Delta-born Nigerian woman. Prior to her trip to the United States, Hetty Ofugara schooled at the University of Port Harcourt, Uniport, and graduated with her BSc in 1992. After then, she went on to complete her MS in the United States from the University of Maryland before completing her MBA in Marketing Management from the class of 2008. She has become the first black female to be promoted to commander of a U.S. Navy ship, a rare feat indeed. Congratulations. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
Thank you for staying all through the program. We hope it's been worth your while. And in case you have anything to share with us, please do not hesitate to do so as we expect feedback on our show. Remember, you can reach us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook at Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, on Instagram at nitcom_gov, on our YouTube page at nitcom_gov, and on our website at www.nitcom.gov.ng. You can also join us on DSTV at NTA Network on Friday at 10:30 a.m., on NTA International on Tuesday at 6 a.m. and 10:05 p.m., on NTA News 24 on Friday at 2:30 p.m., and on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. You can also join us on WAP TV on Thursdays at 9 a.m. and on WTV on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 a.m. And you can join us on Ben TV London at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. I remain your host, Koinsola Adetumbi. See you next time.